What the fuck? Who are you?
Hey, lick my plate, you dog dick!
Yeah, fuck this. I need something stronger. Hey guys, top of the morning to you. So, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 came out in 1986. And after the first original movie came out and enjoyed various bands from various countries, Tobe Hooper said, fuck it, let's make a sequel. So, they came out with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And this is probably the most unique movie in the whole franchise, because this isn't a full-on horror movie like in the original. This is more of a black comedy type of horror. So there's a lot more comedy sprinkled into it, a lot more. And yeah, so it starts off with a Texas Ranger who calls himself Lefty, who is looking for the cannibalistic hillbillies. Hillbillies? Yeah, why not? Let's call them hillbillies. Fuck it. And they're looking for them. Looking for them. And they have, since the original movie, been moving location. So now they're living underground in like a mine. Therefore, in the previous movie, they were living in a big, fancy, like, country house. And it did make me wonder, in the original movie, was that their house? Or was that one of their many locations they seem to have been moving throughout their lives? That was always interesting to me. But anyway, so he's searching for these cannibalistic hillbillies, and you're reintroduced to the Sawyer family, one in particular being the cook, who is one of the original family members from the first one that came back, who is awesome. In the first one, I always loved this character. You know, his morality was always mixed up. You know, like, I don't get no joy out of killing people, but you know, he's helping to kill them. He's luring them there, so he's technically part of the killing. You know. So, I always thought he was the most normal. So in this one, he's enjoying his like newfound fame, as the whole city now awarded him a trophy for the best meat. Scarily enough. And like, even the way he says it, he gets his trophy, and for some reason the trophy is filled up with like stew and meat and stuff. And he's like saying, you know, this town, you know, it knows good prime meat. You know, what you should do is never skimp on the meat. You know, it's terrifying because you know that's fucking human meat. And what's even scarier is the judges. Obviously, it didn't show you, but in essence, the judges tasted his meat, not knowing it's human meat. And he won. They liked it. So that's quite a terrifying concept alone. You know, it's the little things. But, really fun fact. Do you remember the truck guy from the end of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre? The guy who threw the wrench and it hit Leatherface Leatherface. And it knocked him out. He makes a cameo in this movie. If you watch closely, it's in the beginning whenever the guy has like a big triangle, like he hits it, you know, like ding. That's him. Yep. So it's cool to see he made a little cameo. I'm assuming it as a different character, unless the guy retired from trucking and said, "Fuck it, Save's job is ringing this damn fucking triangle. Fuck it." You know. But so we're also introduced to the second main character, who is Vanity, or as she calls herself, Stretch. It's a great name. She is a radio host, and people who call in, ask for a song, she'll play it on the radio. So she gets a random call from these joyriders in the beginning of the movie. One of them wearing googly eye fucking glasses, who's just fucking shooting everything, primarily the signs as they drive past, both off their tits on drugs and alcohol. And they prank call her, just basically telling her, we're having a fucking good time, fucking. And they don't hang up. And she keeps telling him to hang up. And I was wondering, why can't you hang up? You're the host. I mean, wouldn't you have like a hang up button in case somebody prank called, just for that occasion? I thought that was a bit weird. But the thing about this movie, you can't really take it too serious. You can't, I can nitpick, but it knows what type of movie it is. It's a bonkers, wacky ass movie. So nitpicking, it's, it can sort of get away with these things, the little things, because of that. And she hears the murder on the thing. When I say murder, I mean the joyriders eventually come side to side with another car or a truck, and it starts towing with them, and then suddenly they see a corpse appearing at the top of the truck, which is a really cool scene. And suddenly, it gets a chainsaw and starts it, but obviously it's not the corpse doing it. You see somebody behind the corpse, like, doing it, making it look like it's the corpse doing it. And they have the chainsaw. It's a really cool scene, it's like very memorable. Like you see the truck and the car going towards the camera, the crazy fucks on top of the chainsaw, going nuts. So it's a really cool scene. And the fucking googly-eyed fuck, he goes out and tries shooting. Fucking shoot a corpse. Yeah, great idea. Shoot the chainsaw or something. Don't nitpick. Knows what it is. It's okay. So whatever, they get the car cut up and they get their asses killed. She hears all this in the radio, screaming, chainsaws, crash, boom. So then you're introduced. Oh, well, I already said about Lefty. Lefty comes in and all the police practically hate him. They're trying to get him off the case. They're threatening him with jail. But he doesn't give a fuck. He has a vendetta. He has a mission, and nothing is going to stop him. So that's his attitude. And so Stretch goes to his apartment and tells him, I have all on this tape, I have the whole murder on the tape. And he's just not interested. He's like, you're just going to slow me down, man. He doesn't give a fuck. But he later goes back and says, I want you to play that tape on the radio at this time. And she's imming it down, and she does. And that attracts the Sawyer family to her. And we're introduced to Chop Top, who is the new member of the Sawyer family. He's sort of taken the hitchhiker's position, and he's a fucking awesome character. I really love how eccentric he is. He comes in with like fucking the Beatles fucking wig and a coat hanger, and he keeps scratching the thing. And he's a really cool character. Definitely a great addition. Probably my favorite character. So he's there. He's just torturing the shit out of her. Not physically, but he's just pissing her off. He's trolling her and talking about music, and she's like, please leave. He's like, goodbye. He's like, goodbye. 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 And then it leads to a really cool jump scare that did actually catch me off guard. They're both standing there, and there's a corridor in between them, and it's dark. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, just Leatherface comes on over with the chainsaw from the corridor. And it scared the shit out of me. It's like, that's your first introduction to Leatherface in this movie, and it's a jump scare. Pretty much like the first movie. So he's going nuts, and she screams for like 10 fucking minutes in one area. God, please, no. And there's a wall beside her, which obviously is made out of cheap plywood. She could have easily just got something, smashed it, ran away, because he's not going to hear it because he has a chainsaw. But hey, logic. But, I mean, yeah, the whole movie, it's goofy, but it actually holds up. I think it maintains the balance really well between like creepy and eerie and then the comedy. It keeps it all balanced extremely well. So she gets away and she follows them as they get away, and after they beat the shit out of her co-host, literally beat his ass with a hammer and obviously later on take his face off, Leatherface, as he does. And somehow comes back to life later. I don't fucking know how he does that. And then dies again. And there's a really eerie scene where like Leatherface, like he has the chainsaw switched off at this point, and he's like, probably the evilest thing the bastard did was he put a chainsaw in like an ice bucket with beer. It's fucking cruel, man. Leave the beer alone. Fuck. When he's done killing the beer, he eerily he puts a chainsaw on Stretch's leg, and he like puts the chainsaw like up slowly up to her leg, onto her thigh. Now it's off. Obviously, the chainsaw's off, but it's a really tense scene. And he goes like towards, wherever he goes, and you're eerie. You're thinking, please don't turn it on. Not there. Not there. But he doesn't. Instead, you get a really eerie masturbation scene. Yep. Leatherface pulling the head of it while pointing a chainsaw at her. Pretty hot. But it's a fucked up scene. So, you're on edge. Then she eventually gets away, and then she follows him to their hideout, which is in the mines. And there's a scene whenever she gets there, like she follows the truck there, then suddenly a car chases her for a good 5 minutes, and she runs through this tunnel. And I thought the tunnel was cool because it looked like a rib cage. It's not, but that's just how it looked. She's running through it, and the car's behind her. 5 minutes, and then eventually the car stops, and Lefty gets up. Like, why didn't you fucking just say it was you before chasing me with a car, asshole? What was the purpose of that? Like, was he intentionally just trolling with her? I don't fucking know. So they're talking, and she falls down a trap hole, lands up in the mine where the Sawyers are, and they're just being fucking crazy, as usual, eccentric. Chop Top's dancing around with the corpse, and the corpse is actually the hitchhiker from the original. Now, I didn't know it was the hitchhiker because of the outfit it was wearing. If it had been the same outfit the hitchhiker was wearing when he was killed, then I could have looked at it and said, oh, fuck, hey, they kept the body, okay. But I didn't know. The only single thing that distinguished, the fact that it was the hitchhiker was he kept a little bag pouch on. He had that. But that's literally the only thing. But that's who that is. Hibbins, or who, I can't remember his name, but it starts with a H, I'm pretty sure. And so she's hiding. Leatherface finds her. He's freaking out. He's falling in love with her, so he's trying to hide her. And then, and out of an act of love, he decides to put the face that he freshly carved off the co-host and put it on her face and put a nice little hat on with it. So romantic. It is sadistic. Fucking wait, sadistic. There's the word. There's the fucking word. I got it in the end. Sadistic. So, Lefty is running around because he bought like a couple of chainsaws early in the movie, and he has like 2 small ones which he duels his ass with, and he has 1 big one. So he goes down and he starts chainsawing all of the beams while he's shouting like 1,000 fucking times, "Bring it all down! It all has to come down!" And he keeps shouting at them the whole fucking last half of the movie. And then towards the end of the movie, you get a scene where he sees a corpse, and this corpse is in a wheelchair. And you realize it's Franklin from the first movie. And I thought it was a really touching little scene. It was subtle, and it was nice. It was really touching, You realize that Lefty is actually would have been Franklin and Sally's uncle, and that's why he's on this big vendetta and this big hunt. So you get like a scene where he touches Franklin. He's like, Franklin, and a little flashlight Franklin was holding at the end of the first movie, like, whenever he was killed, switches on, and he's like looking at the flashlight, and then like really the best part of the scene, like it's subtle, but I think it was really effective. Was like the flashlight's on full beam, and then it just slowly dims and goes off. Yeah, just that I thought was really well done. It was very subtle, and it was touching. So then he goes nuts, bring it down again, starts sawing everything. So then eventually he comes face to face with the Sawyers. Finally, at the end, you have the final battle. This is it. This is the biggie. This is where it's all been leading to. And you get one of the coolest fights in the entire franchise. We have Lefty and Leatherface both dueling with their chainsaws. It's fucking cool. And you have that iconic line from Lefty, I am the Lord of the Harvest. And, it's fucking epic. It's just, they have this big kick-ass battle. So while they're fighting, Stretch, she leaves, she runs off. Chop Top chases after her. And pretty much you have this epic battle, and then the cook gets a chainsaw literally on his ass. So he's like, he's running around like a wounded animal, hiding under the table, just waiting there with his fucking ass bleeding and shit. So he starts to take out a grenade and getting ready to blow everything up, and then Lefty. There's a scene. Oh, I should also say, before all this, they actually recreated the dinner scene like from the original. Like they recycled it into this movie. So Stretch was at the dinner table. Everyone's, there. Grandpa's brought in, and they do again, where they put her head down the bucket and you have Grandpa with the hammer. So they recreated all that. And Grandpa still can't hit for shit. So yeah, that was that. And then afterwards, Lefty comes, and then she runs away. So then they're having the battle, the fight with the chainsaws, the duel. And Grandpa gets up for the first time ever. Literally gets up, throws the hammer at Lefty, misses, hits Leatherface in his face, and he falls down on the table, and the chainsaw goes into the cook, and he drops a grenade, and they all blow up, killing all the Sawyer family. Leatherface, the cook, Grandpa, even Lefty, all gone. So then you just cut to Stretch, still trying to escape, getting out of the mines, and Chop Top. Try to say that when you're drunk 10 times quicker. It's chasing her up the ladder. And then you get to this it's like a big corpse. It's like a really big corpse that's got like a little chainsaw, and you're like, who the fuck's this? And you realize that's the grandmother. She's like really huge, but it's a really cool design. So she gets a chainsaw, kills Chop Top, sends his ass flying, so he falls into the mine again. And yeah, she picks up the chainsaw and is like going nuts with it, like spinning around like at the end of the original. Just spinning around with the chainsaw. And just for a split second, right before the credits come, I had to rewind it. Right at the very end, you see the grandmother getting up. And then it cuts and the credits come. So, yeah, that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. What did I think of it? I think it was actually really well done. And it was a very bold move, having this be a comedy, rather than following it up with another horror, like full-on horror, which I don't think they would have been able to recreate as good. Maybe they could have, but I personally think it was a good direction they went. It was a bold move, but it worked. It paid off. And, out of 10, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Personally, I think the second movie, this one, has more rewatchability than the original. Me personally, that's what I think. In fact, I think I enjoyed this one better than I enjoyed the original. But maybe that's sacrilege to say, but that's just me. I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time with this. And I haven't seen the third one yet, so I haven't got a clue what to expect. So that's going to be interesting. Because I know at this point how the end of this movie, all the Sawyers are dead. So I have no clue what they're going to do with the third. Because as far as I can see at the end of this, Leatherface is also killed off. So that's going to be interesting to see. And I'll review that. So that'll be fun. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And thank you for listening to me babble on. I really appreciate it. What did you think of this movie? Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this movie? Have you seen it yet? Do you plan to see it? What do you think about the bold comedy direction that they decided to take this movie? Do you think it was better? Do you wish it had stayed with horror? Let me know. We'll talk about it. So, thank you so much for watching. And as always, don't kill anyone.